It sometimes happens to me when I need to see a doctor or a nurse for a pain in my foot, back, etc. They will jokingly say, "Oh, come on. A big strong fellow like you." And I feel like a whiny idiot for insisting that yes, I do feel pain. You should absolutely ignore it, and push through the pain. Then in 6 months, when it is serious enough to cause long-term problems, you have to listen to a lecture about how men never go to the doctor to get things checked out. More common than you think. I had an office full of people laugh at me when I told them my girlfriend was hitting me. They said, "She just likes you. Stop being a bitch," essentially. I'd imagine if I was the one hitting her, I'd be dragged out and in jail. Fuck her and fuck those people. Hope you got away from her. God, I can't stand this society. That's cop speak for, "I don't want to fill out this paperwork." Report them. I will always remember reading an article about someone trying to pass a law that required cops to fill out paperwork every time they pulled out their gun and/or taser. The idea is that the requirement to fill out paperwork would prevent cops from, accidentally, shooting people, and would make them rethink the situation. Surprise, surprise, the cop unions fought hard against it, saying that cops shouldn't be required to fill out paperwork because it would prevent them from doing their jobs. Imagine it. A civilian's life is less important than filling out paperwork. Former Leo here. It's not uncommon. Had other officers laugh at a man who filed a police report when his significant other assaulted him with a frying pan. The guy had gnarly bruises on his face and back as well as a minor concussion, all because he wouldn't stop playing his PS4. Unfortunately, this was one of a handful of incidents I witnessed. Part of the reason I quit. My brother got thrown in jail when he got into an argument with his new wife. She just beat the crap out of him, but he didn't raise a hand. Cops still arrested him when they showed up. A real man doesn't have any feelings or emotions, so he can't ever get hurt. If he does get hurt, then he's just a pussy or queer. This is the toxicity that pervades not only Western culture but cultures across the globe. Everyone wants us to man up until we fulfill their demands, and they wind up with sociopathic narcissists forcing people to ignore all alarm bells. I mean, do what they try to force us to do. Had a girl stalking me, went to the police and was laughed at. I am 6 feet and beefy. When I gave her physical description, the sergeant said he'd be right back. He came back with 2 other cops and said this guy is afraid of little blonde girl. Yeah, fuck those guys. She was extremely mentally ill, was finally put in a treatment facility, but still had a fixation on me. It took my then girlfriend threatening her to get her to stop. It's so ignorant. Like, are you guys telling me to take matters into my own hands? Huge difference between being scared of someone because they can overpower you, and being scared because if you do anything to resist their attack you will actually go to jail. If I was in that situation, I'd immediately turn it on its head. My wife is constantly trying to beat me and berate me for the tiniest things. She just likes you. It's okay, man up. Okay, I'm gonna go home and beat the shit out of my wife. Dish it right back, since we're joking and all. Good way to land yourself in jail when they take it seriously. Hitting a woman is no joking matter. Going to a higher-ranking cop is one option. If that comes up dry, another option is bypass the cops entirely and make a report straight to the DOS office on both her and the cop. It's still a crapshoot, but the odds of finding a sympathetic ear are at least as good. Take it from someone that is 6 feet 6. It happens all the time. You're a pussy if you complain, and you're a monster if you take action. Stuff like this is on YouTube in the hundreds, about women saying they can hit a man and the man isn't supposed to hit back. It is what it is. The solution in your case: go to his superior. Make a formal complaint. Greater than. Pussy if you complain and you're a monster if you take action. This hit hard. Sad face. Yes. My mom mocks my dad for going to the doctor when he gets an earache or whatever. My mom had to literally call me to strong-arm my dad into going to the hospital because he was literally dying. So reading things like this makes me understand why my dad felt he had to protest to any medical care. I've never had support IRL. Only on Reddit. If that gives you an idea. And there were people who knew and let me get tortured physically, mentally, and emotionally for 5 years. Hope you are free now. WTF? Women can be predators too. Stalking is really scary. I had a male stalker years ago, but I was taken seriously when I reported it. For all the officer knows, that woman could be a serial killer. I'd get the officer's name and number and report him. That way if anything bad happens it will be on them for not taking you seriously. In some places, women cannot legally be pedophiles, stalkers, rapists, etc. since a lot of the laws revolve around wording that says things about specifically men committing the crime or use of a penis in sexual assault. If you're not a man, then those laws technically don't apply. Woke up to my girlfriend, at the time, punching me in the face in the middle of the night because she had been drinking and somehow worked herself up to thinking I had porn on my computer. Anyways, the next day I called the police to have her removed from my apartment. I must have lucked out because the police took it seriously that she was being abusive, and were formally questioning both of us as different rooms when I heard her start shouting because apparently she started trying to play cutesy and the cops weren't having it. So she got violent again and started threatening the police officers. So instead of just removing her, they arrested her. There were many months of her being abusive leading up to this, physically and emotionally, that people just shrugged off and told me to man up about because she was a girl. Yes, it's common and it sucks. You weren't allowed to have porn on your computer? I got raped by a woman a decade ago. Went to my local police station to report it and was laughed out of the station. I don't respect or trust Leos. In most countries, definitions of words mean a woman can't rape a man. Total BS, but the legal framework we have. It's called dereliction of duty, and yes, it's very common. That's why respect for Leos is where it is. It's not dereliction of duty because police have no duty to protect and serve, even if you're in immediate danger and they're aware of it because they're hiding in the conductor's compartment watching you get repeatedly stabbed by a serial killer just a few feet away. It's already hard to get believed as a woman victim of abuse, but the rate at which men get dismissed for their horrible experiences is sickening to me. SAW and SHISH are serious crimes, but yet they never seem to be taken seriously, and sadly it's even worse for our male survivors. I'm so sorry that any of this happened to all of you. As a fellow survivor, you have all my respect and support. We can only hope that raising your voices will someday make it mandatory for the police force to listen to all of you, as they already should. I know I won't shut up. Stand strong, brothers. My ex raped me twice. I didn't even think about going to the cops because I knew she'd try to flip it on me and I was afraid I'd go to jail. Man up is a pretty common reason why men don't speak up. It makes you feel like a bitch. Granted, there are times where your situation really isn't worthy of making a big deal about. Say you're washing dishes and you accidentally splash water on your shirt. You really gonna look for sympathy for that? Nah. But someone's stalking you. The cops should be ready to protect and serve someone in that situation no matter their gender. Sometimes cops suck. I got stabbed 3 times in my left arm by the first woman I ever cohabited with, after I confronted her about driving home drunk late one night on a girls' night out. The male RCMP officers who took my statement were condescending, snide and said stuff along the lines, I must have done something to have earned that. Luckily the head nurse at the hospital gave me a ride back to our place to pick up my things and stood watch over her while I packed. She swore and threatened us both saying shit like, I knew you were fucking her ever since you moved here. The nurse informed her before we left, since you need regular care at the hospital for your chronic condition, we can't refuse to help you. I will however place in your records that you have violent tendencies and that you will have an orderly accompany you at all times when you are on the property. I confessed last year to my wife of 20-plus years to being depressed and was greeted by stifled laughter. Not too surprisingly, I no longer share such things with and this year am planning vacations by myself. That sounds like a miserable marriage. I'm sorry. Yes, that is why men don't seek help. I wish you'd taken your phone out and started recording a video of him and asking, "Can you say that again please, officer? I just reported that I'm being stalked by a girl and you replied, but I just want to get it on camera this time, so can you repeat it please?" They'd prob shoot you tbh. From my experience that's harassment. Not stalking, but nonetheless still something to be weary of. I'm 6'2" myself and had video proof of her putting the tag in my truck, and the cops asked why she did it. I haven't the slightest clue. How is it not stalking?